And a pretty darn good touchdown, if I do say so myself. Alright, that has completed another part of the contract. Land on Duna. Only 56,000 for that, but 150 reputation. And the final part of our contract is transmit some science. So we're going to do the crew report. What one did I have in there? Okay, let's cancel. Let's do EVA. Let's take whatever's in there. Take the data. Take the data. Store the data. Alright, let's do the EVA from flying at Duna. 40 science. That's board. Let's do just the crew report. 40 science. We'll transmit this. There's the antenna sticking out. Done. We have accomplished our last... We successfully explored Duna, and this one here was the transmit. Alright, so we've accomplished the contracts. Plant flag is the last contract, so we'll work on that in just a second. Let's do the goo pod. 80 science. The materials bay. 200. The thermometer. 64. The barometer. Atmosphere is pretty thin, even at the surface. Alright, 96 science for that. And then the seismic accelerometer. For 160 more science. Alright, so TVA again. And we have to be careful not to get him stuck somewhere in the ship. That happens sometimes. Alright, so I'm going to space to let go. I'm going to pull these out once we get back in orbit. So I'm going to just try to get him off of the ship safely now and do his EVA from the surface sample, and plant a flag. So I'm going to quickly space, R, and then shift to give him some thrust. So space, R, and shift. And so he can fly. Can he get up? So he jumps. Okay, he can just fly. Okay, good. Thought I was going to get stranded here. Whoops. Landed hard. Get up. Alright, you can put away your rocket pack. Walk a little bit this way. Let's do science. EVA report. 64 from Duna surface. Surface sample, 240. Let's plant that flag. Site name, Duna, landing 1. I don't know whether to call it red, pink, or orange. First thing that came to my mind. Okay, so we have done all that goody stuff. Now it is time to try to go home. Alright, so what we need to do is we'll start off with a little jump. Let's get his RCS pack ready. We'll do a jump to get us going, and then RCS our way up to the capsule. So, jump, thrust, forward, 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 and grab, climb. Yeah, like I said, I'll get that in space, and board. Alright, so now the question is, can this thing get off Duna? We're pretty sure it can. We use very little fuel. One of the things he can do is repack. A Kerbal can repack parachutes. So we'll have to do that in space as well, especially these two, if we can get home. So if I can get into orbit with this full tank, I think I can get back to Kerbin. Maybe hopefully a little left over in the last of the stages here. Because we need about 800 delta V to get a Kerbin, excuse me, a Kerbin encounter. And I think this stage may have it even with this extra weight. Alright, anyway, enough talking. Let's get flying. 90 degrees is down there. We do have to worry about atmosphere, so we don't want to go turn over too fast just yet. Alright. 3, 2, 1, lift off. Let's just do the good old 45. Pull up the landing gear. Get ready to stage. And that didn't work. I think we can still get into orbit. Yeah, very definitely. Question is now getting home. I think maybe I'll do it. not going to take that much more delta V to get into orbit. So we should have our center tank in probably about, let's see how much of these have we used so far. Only about 20%, so maybe half, third to a third. So I'm actually hopeful even after that mishap. Okay, we've reached space. Have we? No, we haven't. I guess atmosphere 30,000? Doesn't make I thought it was like 50,000. Oh well, I'm not going to complain. Yeah, we stopped dropping, so no more atmospheric drag. Let's go ahead and warp. Oh, now it's only let me do physics warp, so I think we're still in the atmosphere. I think the music is just mistimed. 50,000 is... Alright, that lets us warp a little bit. There we go. Let's go and burn this to an orbit. Which is happening very, very fast. Okay, we are safely out of the atmosphere, and how much fuel do we have left? We have the full middle tank. Or not, why isn't that not... Did I do fuel lines? I thought I did, I guess I didn't. Oops, wrong key. No, I guess I didn't do fuel lines to the middle. That was a mistake. Because if these would have run out, I've had nothing here. Alright, so we can... Well, let's go home. I think we can do it. So, again, we need to do the same thing this time. We're burning on the daytime side to get home. We need to burn out, like I said, I think it's about 700 or 800. That's a pretty good parallel. That's way too much. Set Duna, or set Kerbin as a target. Get our marker back. Yeah, we're about 6 months. 6 months away. So Duna needs to be... It's not quite straight across. So straight across and then up a little bit. So Duna needs to be about minus 45 degrees. Alright, so let's go to the Space Center. Alright, and I will speed this up, and I'll do time warp until Kerbin is in relative position right about there to Duna. Be right back. Okay, that looks good. Alright, now we go back to our Duna lander. Fly it. Alright, before I forget, let's EVA and grab the science and repack these chutes. So right click on the chute, repack. Right click, repack. Space to let go. R to turn on his pack. So let's grab the ladder here to make things easier. So let's grab... Oh, is that just a little too far? Okay, oh, we've already removed that, I think. Okay, let's grab the data from the seismic accelerator, from the materials bay, from the barometer, and from the thermometer. Okay, so we have all the data in hand. On board. So all the science is now in the capsule. Our parachutes are reset. We're getting charged from some... Did I put on some emergency solar panel somewhere? No, because our charge isn't recharging. It's just kind of bouncing around. It isn't going down either. From our lights? Oh yeah, there they are. There's the emergency ones. Okay, good. So even though I blew it by letting those solar panels die, I'm still getting some charge. I'm not getting a lot because I'm pointed away from the sun. Alright, so now we do a maneuver again. Oh, we get rid of this one. It's outdated. Our maneuver is about 700. And we have Viking away, so we don't want that. I'm going to warp around probably 4 or 5 times. See you in a moment. Alright, I think this will be enough. Let's try it again. Add maneuver, 700 meters per second. Yep, no conflict. Then we have to... I rolled with the, scrolled my mouse wheel with it over that, so it undid some of the velocity. Let's move it that way a bit. A little bit more. Hope we don't encounter Ike. There we go. Let's see what that gives us. Here, it's still a little too much. And why is Kerbin so far ahead of us now? Oh well, we can fix that. It might take a couple extra years of orbiting around the sun to make the maneuvers work, but we will do it. Alright, so let's get to our marker. Not now. That was dumb. I gotta wait 8 minutes. Alright, there we go. I'm going to do the last bit of this burn from the wide view. Get rid of the maneuver node. We're doing it as soon as we get an intercept, or a close marker. There we go. Because we're going to make our next maneuver there and see what we can do to actually get lined up with Kerbin. Because right now it's ahead of us and we're going slower. So we'll have to probably pull ourselves in. Yeah, it's complicated. Alright, let's just go. Our view as we leave. Beautiful Duna. Kind of looks like a fighter of some kind. Oh yeah, the old Star Wars Y fighters, I think. I didn't get any pretty shots from on Duna, so alright, let's get out of Duna sphere. Let's move on to closest approach, so I will do a speed up and see you when we're there. Okay, we've hit our closest approach. 11 million kilometers. So what we need to do is have maneuver. We need to slow our orbit down to drop in with Kerbin. Now as we do this, these should close up. How much, let's interface back so we see how much delta V, 1100. That was our 600. What we may have to do is go around a couple times. This little marker shows what happens on the next orbit. So if we wait in orbit, we only have to burn 115. Yeah, because node in 1 year. Okay, so that's what we do. And I'll see you guys when we get back around here. Alright, I'm over here. Something's not right, because I have 2 different lines here. I think I have set 2 different nodes somehow. Let's just redo it. Oh yeah, because it's counting... I was counting me slowing down first. See, I needed to do this first. But I don't want to do that first. I want to just get... The heck? I want to add an orbit. There we go. After 2 orbits, we're pretty darn close. So some more zooming around. Let's get rid of this. And go around 2 more times. I think we'll end up pretty darn close. Let's see. Let's see what happens here. If I slow down, oh, there we go. Here's what I want to do. Yeah, I slow down here and I'll get an encounter. 3 days to the encounter. If you're patient enough, you can do this as long as you're already intersecting the planet. If you're patient, you can, oops, overshot it. Not a big deal. Not on the interplanetary stuff. But yeah, if you're patient, you can get something that's close enough where you only need a very small amount of delta V to finally get your encounter. It's just it may take, you know, years in the game. See, we've been already flying this ship for 4 years now. Alright, so let's get this burn out of the way. Alright, it's closing the last little bit by hand. And there's our encounter. And we'll go fly around and adjust it out here so that we can get an encounter with the atmosphere. Now what we can do here is I think we have less than a third. So we can dump all this fuel. Now let's take the whole thing home, that way it'll crash and burn, and since we have enough fuel now. But I was going to transfer the fuel from these tanks to this tank, but it's no longer necessary. Alright, so we're around 1 more time. See you when we're about in this range, and then we'll adjust our encounter. Okay, now let's work on our encounter. Let's get up, use tab, focus on Kerbin. Okay, we're on the right side. We're pretty much on the equator. So we just need to bring it in. And the way to do that is a little prograde burn. Because prograde will bring our encounter closer if we're going on the prograde side. And we hit encounter in the moon, but afterwards, so that's fine. Let's get a little closer to give it more detail. Let's see if I can click on just the marker. Keep it up. Alright, we need to burn a little bit north now. Alright, now we're colliding with the planet, a little too steeply though. Let's do retrograde and Get a slightly more shallow contact. Yep, too far there, 132,000. Well, we can adjust that once we get into Kerbin's sphere of influence. We're close enough now to do that. Alright, so another speed up as we get into our encounter. Alright, we want to burn a little bit retrograde. Drop that periapsis into orbit, there we go. Retrograde to orbit. Surface was the part of the sun. There it is. We're so far away, retrograde is essentially pointing away from Kerbin itself. Should have known that before I spun my way around the nav ball. And we'll drop this to 10,000 meters. And we are ready to go home. Let's get a view of all this. Turn SAS off. Let's see, we don't have to worry about solar panels. We can just zoom right in. What I have to do, though, is I have to restage my parachutes. So that is this pair. It's ready to go again. So we need a new stage after this. And above that one. So disconnect, deploy parachutes. I'm just paranoid because they're green. All the others are deactivated. Alright, now we can warp in. Alright, yeah, SAS is already off. So I'm gonna go ahead and speed things up, and let's watch the fireworks. I do not know what happened there. I thought for sure I'd repack my chutes. That is unfortunate. Should have checked to see why they were green. Oh well, so we lost the science, but we gained the contracts. Did I move the wrong? I know, I'm pretty sure I moved the correct ones into that stage. Even if I hadn't, it should have deployed when I staged earlier. Yep, I don't know. Let's just go back to the Space Center. Yeah, I do not know. Huh. So we lost a lot of science to that disaster. So episode 13 was kind of an Apollo 13. Things going wrong all over the place. We did accomplish the contracts. Do we have enough science to do anything here? No, we need 300 each. So we did not accomplish that. But let's go back to the contracts building and think about our next mission. So we know we could do Gilly. We could do Eve. We could land on Eve. Just can't take off again. Plant flag on Moon. Science data from space around Moon. We could do that as a really quick. And we could land, if we land on a different biome, we get more science from that. Test a couple things in flight over Kerbin. 400,000 for that. Very nice. So next episode, we'll jump back to doing contracts. Nothing's active. Yeah, so we'll jump back to doing contracts. So we'll do this group of contracts, and then we'll fly to somewhere else. Then we'll see what that unlocks. If nothing else, the episode after, we'll go to Gilly before we go to Eve, and then Jules open. But yeah, we'll get some science from Moon. And we'll get some science from these contracts. 4 from that one. 14 there, the Rapier. 206, so that, even with that, we'll be able to unlock one more tech node with some science from the Moon, which should be able to unlock another one. So that is our goal next time. We'll do these 5 contracts. Let's go ahead and accept them right now. Actually, in flight over Kerbin... No, I don't want to do those 2. Because they're very cheap and very difficult to accomplish. So let's go ahead and decline them. In flight, we do want to do this one. Plant flag on Duna, we can do that. Test turbojet in engine in flight. This is a little more lucrative, so we might do that one. Altitude 20,000. They tend to flame out at that altitude. 480 meters per second. I'll keep it open. So the ones we're definitely going to do is we're going to do Moon. Then we're going to test the Rapier engine orbiting Kerbin. And after that, we will see what kind of deep space mission we can do. Anyway, that's it for episode 13, very unlucky 13, of How to Contract in Kerbal Space Program version 0.24. My name is Jim. Well, thank you for joining me. Have a great day.